If you're constantly chasing the clock and feeling overwhelmed by to-do lists and wondering, how am I going to get it all done? You are not alone. In this episode, we're diving deep into the physiology, the psychology of time scarcity and exploring the necessary shifts and practical strategies that can help you to reclaim your time, boost your productivity, and find more ease and flow in your daily life. Stay tuned. Are you a big-hearted, ambitious woman feeling completely fried by overwhelm and burnout? Do you crave a life of purpose and joy but feel stuck in a cycle of stress and exhaustion? Welcome to Burnout to Bliss, the podcast that empowers you to finally break free, reconnect with yourself, and create a life you absolutely love on your own terms. I'm Dr. Fee, and I'm passionate about helping women like you pour love into themselves first so they can actually enjoy their success and embrace their bliss. So get ready to expand your life beyond what you thought was possible in healing, love, leadership, success, purpose, and wealth. Welcome back. Today we're diving into a topic that I know hits home for so many of us, especially big-hearted, ambitious women who are constantly juggling a million things at once. That feeling of never having enough time. And let's be real, the pressure to do more in less time, it's intense. I used to be stuck in that cycle of hard work and effort, pushing for perfection, always feeling like I was behind. My to-do list absolutely ruled my life. And I'd cram so much into every single moment that it would inevitably backfire. I'd end up running late. I'd feel really stressed out, depleted, and honestly, I became a little snarky with the people around me. Now, what I didn't realize then was just how much this always on, like busy mode, switched on mode, was costing me. And it's not just in terms of my well-being, like hello burnout, anxiety, sleepless nights, but also in the quality of my work and relationships. It really impacted how I could show up in every aspect of my life. I was more likely to make mistakes, show up depleted, cranky, distracted, and that feeling of never enough, like just, oh my gosh, it just followed me everywhere. Now, transforming my relationship with my to-do list and with time itself became a cornerstone of my burnout recovery, reclaiming my life and claiming an ever-expanding blissful life. It's that important. Now, this wasn't about magically finding more hours in the day. I wish I could do this for me, for you. It's actually about changing how I related to time. It meant getting real with myself about my capacity, learning to set boundaries even when it felt uncomfortable, being kinder on myself, ditching the unrealistic expectations, but also to choose being present over constantly chasing an elusive someday. Okay, now that's exactly what we're diving into today, how to break free from that never enough time trap and create a more spacious, empowered relationship with your schedule. And here's the thing. When we're constantly feeling overwhelmed and rushed, it's not just an inconvenience, it's actually changing our brain chemistry and impacts our ability to think clearly. And this is not just my personal experience, science backs this up. So in a state of overwhelm, your body is literally wired to look for threats, focus on the worst case scenarios. It's basic survival biology at play. So when we're stressed and feeling pressured by time, I don't have enough time, I'm not going to get there, oh my gosh, our brain interprets this as a danger signal. And in turn, it triggers our sympathetic nervous system. This is our fight or flight response. It floods our bodies with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline and noradrenaline. Now, in small doses, these hormones can be really helpful. They give us that extra boost, that burst of energy and focus to deal with challenges and threats. But when we're chronically stressed, when we're chronically overwhelmed, chasing the clock, these hormones wreak absolute havoc on our minds and on our body, on our lives. And what happens is that we experience tunnel vision. So, this is where our brains prioritize immediate threats, narrowing our focus, making it really hard to see a bigger picture. We lose perspective. We can catastrophize, and it stops us from coming up with creative solutions. We actually become shut down, a little silly, right? The negative bias. I've spoken about this many times in previous episodes. This is where we become hypersensitive to potential problems, but we're more likely to dwell on negative thoughts, the worst case scenarios, like I said, and all the negative what ifs. And that just fuels this cycle of overwhelm, pressure, chasing your tail. And then there's decision fatigue. And this is a real thing, a big thing. Okay. Our mental bandwidth gets depleted. Like, it becomes incredibly hard to make decisions. So you might find yourself at the end of the day standing in front of the fridge or freezer, the door wide open, and just standing there and unable to make a decision because you've just hit the wall. Okay. Like, what am I going to have decision? And you just be like, I cannot make this decision. Like, I just don't have it in me. Something so simple, right? It stops us from being able to prioritize effectively, or take a clear path to move forward. We can feel really stuck, and it might even prevent us from really remembering simple things. So not only do we feel more stressed and scattered when we're constantly in the state of overwhelm, but our brains are actually working against us. This makes it even harder to manage our time effectively. It makes it near impossible to escape that feeling of never having enough hours in the day. So now you might be thinking, okay, Dr. Fee, how do I fix this? And this is a great question. So when it comes to transforming our relationship with time, actually, when it comes to any big decision, challenge, problem, there are two main paths that we can take. And I give thanks and credit to a previous mentor of mine, Jane Jewell, because this is life-changing. When you understand this, it will really support you to move forward in a very empowered way. So the two main paths that we can take when it comes to shifting our relationship with time is to focus on strategy, take the strategy path. And as fix-it, solution-focused gals, this is the one that we often do. Okay, we focus on fixing it out there. What needs to happen? What do I have to implement? What I have to change and fix and figure out? It's a reactive mode. Sometimes it feels like we can be playing a game of whack-a-mole. We hit over here and then we hit over here and we hit over there, and we just feel exhausted and depleted because it's not a sustainable way to live. Or the other alternative, which I think is where, the magic, healing, massive transformation waits for you, for me, for all of us, is mindset. It's about shifting how we feel about it first in here, pointing to your heart, pointing to my mind. When I talk about mindset, it's going to be very different to other mindset coaches and life coaches. Because I'm a transformative coach, my perspective around mindset is very deep. I cover it on mind, heart, and on a soul and energetic level. So focusing primarily on strategy, and this is all about taking practical action. So some of the steps that you might want to take is analyzing your time. And this is where you take a journal each day of where are you actually spending your time? What are you focusing on? Is it aligning with your priorities? Do you get distracted? Are you getting caught up in other people's business and responsibilities? In your state of depletion, are you saying yes rather than no? This is where you can get such great clarity. Clarity equals power as to how you are investing your time, and you can see whether or not it's in alignment with what is most important to you or way out of alignment. Okay, so this is an incredible step that you can take. And with this, you can identify time wasters. Okay, it might be where you can see time leaks. Oh my gosh, when I go here, I end up wasting hours because I'm scrolling through Instagram, or I'm prioritizing emails, and then I lose my valuable because for me, my brain is switched on most in the morning. So I'm not going to be checking my emails then. I'm going to do that in the afternoon. I'm going to use that time for more of my creative or solution or strategy or, the things that I don't like to do. I'll do that when I'm most fresh. The important, non urgent tasks. We can focus on creating schedules. What can I delegate? What can I automate? All of these are classic time management techniques, and these strategies are really important. They can absolutely move the needle, but, and this is a really big but, here's the thing. If we're not also addressing the underlying mindset, again, looking at that on a holistic level, not just on this level, on a brain level, but on a heart and soul level, if we don't address that, that's creating, this is the core reasons that create that feeling of time scarcity in the first place. Those strategies will only get us so far. Okay, so think about it. You can set a firm boundary to leave work by 6 p.m. to have more family time. It's a great strategy. If you're not doing that already, do it. But if you're still mentally tethered to your inbox, you're plugged into work, you can't actually switch off. You work, you come home, you might spend time with your kids, but then you work late into the night. You feel distracted. Maybe you feel guilty because when you're with your loved ones, you're not at work. And you know what? That boundary isn't really serving you. Why do we implement strategies? Is it just to have the strategy, or is it for an outcome? It's for an outcome. Why do we want more work-life balance? Well, so that we feel more free, spacious, present, on top of things, right? So we can implement strategies, do the things, but not actually get the outcome that we desire. And this is where the power of mindset comes in. It's about shifting our fundamental beliefs and perceptions about time itself. It's that important, because here's a radical thought. What if our experience of time isn't actually fixed and objective, but rather fluid and subjective, which is it's influenced by our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions, our experiences? So think about it. Have you ever noticed how time seems to fly by when you're fully engaged in something you love? Maybe your best friend drops over and you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you for ages. And like that minute together, it just flies by, right? It's seemingly a second. Yet that minute, the same 1 minute, 60 seconds, drags on forever. Say, for instance, you put your hand on a hot plate and it's like, oh my God, this is burning my hand. Could you hold it there for a minute? No way. Or what if you're stuck in a boring meeting or doing something that you absolutely hate, like a chore? You're just like, oh, this is such a nightmare. Does it seem the same? No. And that's because our perception of time is relative. Now, to better understand this, let's take a great concept from Gay Hendricks' book, The Big Leap. If you haven't read it already, get it. It's an amazing book. And he calls this Einstein time. Now, we often operate from what I call a Newtonian view of time. This is based on Newtonian physics, where time is seen as linear. 1 + 1 = 2. It's a finite resource. We only have the X amount of hours to get this task done. And that this finite resource of time is constantly ticking away. It's out of my control. I'm victim to it. This perspective leads to a scarcity mindset where we're always worried about how we're investing our time, running out of time, feeling like we're behind. I'm never going to get ahead, right? Because it's outside of us. But what if we shifted to an Einstein perspective on time? Now, Einstein's theory of relativity showed us that time isn't a constant. It's ticking away at the same. It isn't ticking away at the same rate for everyone, everywhere. Instead, time is relative, meaning it's fluid, it's flexible, it can be influenced by factors like gravity and speed. So while we may not be traveling at the speed of light, our thoughts, emotions, beliefs about time can have a tremendous effect on our experience of it. So when we embrace this in a more, this more expansive view of time, that actually time flows through us, time and my experience of time is in my control, we step into a place of greater agency and possibility. And we realize that we're not just passive recipients of time. Like I said, we're not victims to time, but rather active creators of our experience of it. So think about it. Have you ever been so engrossed in a captivating book, a story that just sweeps you up and you're just like, oh my gosh, you're there, you're visualizing it, you're living it, you're breathing it, or a creative project where you're listening to music and you lose yourself in the pen strokes or the canvas, or a deep conversation with someone that you absolutely love, or maybe someone who's so intriguing and engaging, a random stranger, right? And you're just like, oh my gosh, you're fully there and you completely lose track of time. Hours can just seem to fly by in what feels like minutes. And that's because when we're fully engaged and fully present, like, our perception of time shifts. And it's not that time is literally speeding up or slowing down. It's more that we're shifting our awareness and our engagement and our interaction away from looking at the clocking tick, in our minds, or, literally looking at the clock. And this is a really good thing, because it's an opportunity for us to step into a position where time accommodates all that we need, where time bends to support our to-do list, the things that are most important for us to do today, and to be able to do it in a way where it feels more easy, relaxed, where we feel empowered and in control. So how do we actually make this shift from a really rigid, linear, scarcity-based view of time to a more fluid, Einstein perspective? Okay, it starts with becoming aware of the stories that we tell ourselves about time. And my invitation to you is to pause and reflect upon, like, what are some of the common phrases that you catch yourself saying about time? Do you notice that you're always like, God, I'm so busy? And for me, at the start of my journey, and even now, I come across, I notice in conversation, people like, oh, hey, Fee, how you going? You really busy? And I'm like, no, I don't want to subscribe to that story. And I will always say, no, life is full and life is fantastic, and it's important. You might hear yourself just constantly talking about how you don't have enough time and always running late, and there's just not enough time to get through this, and quick, hurry up, let's go, we're going to be late. And these are all reflections of a lack of scarcity, of a mindset that is actually telling you and telling others that time is a limited resource and we're constantly running out of it, and it's filling you with so much pressure. So when you tell yourself these stories, notice what actually happens. Like right now, as you're listening to this, just say a phrase that you commonly say, like, quick, hurry up, let's go, we're gonna be late. Or, gosh, I'm busy. Oh, not another thing. I don't have enough time. What happens? Like, just tune into your experience. It's a very unpleasant one, right? It distorts what's unfolding right in front of you. How you experience this very moment is shaped by that experience, because your sympathetic nervous system is triggered now. And now you're spiraling into that overwhelm and burnout cycle that I've spoken about in previous episodes, purely because of the story and the pattern and the quick, go. And here's the exciting part, though. We can train our mind to shift out of this scarcity mindset and into a more abundant and spacious relationship with time. There are countless powerful techniques out there to help you to identify and replace these negative thoughts and phrases that you use around time. I teach a technique which is called the Phoenix technique, and it helps to rewire those deeply ingrained thoughts patterns. It's really about helping you to evolve your mind and help you get out of learned helplessness and these stories that often we've inherited from our family. Like, you might catch yourself in life and be like, oh my gosh, I sound just like my mom. you know, oh, here we go. This is like the Enkelman pattern coming through. Now, if you're intrigued by that, you can learn more about it by connecting with me directly. I invite you to reach out. Let's have a chat because it's incredible. But it's important to remember that mindset shifts are just one part of the equation. And you're going to hear this if you've been in my world for any time. I think it's very important that we address any challenge, any limitation holistically. Now, we need to address the physiological effects of time pressure and overwhelm. You're living it, you're experiencing it, you know what I'm talking about. We have to resolve this fight, flight, burnout cycle, an overwhelm cycle that we're stuck in. When you're feeling pressured, you're always running and you're feeling like you're always running behind, you might find that you use affirmations or mindset techniques and it doesn't really work. Or you might feel like you're just lying to yourself, like, you know, you're faking it till you make it. And it's just an indication that there is a bigger part of you that needs addressing, a physical and an emotional and energetic state of overwhelmed time scarcity. It is what's screaming out for attention. And the best thing that you can do is actually tune into that and resolve it, meet it. Okay, meet it front on, head on. Now, I remember speaking to a previous gorgeous client of mine who, prior to working with me, she had just returned from a beach holiday. During her time away, she just, you know, she's on the beach. It's so beautiful. She's there with her toddler and, you know, and young children, and like it's blue skies. This is everything. This is a holiday, but she could not relax. She was filled with anxiety and panic and like, oh my gosh. And that for her was this massive wake up call and recognizing that she needed more. She really needed to address her relationship to time and her survival state on a deeper level. And you know, this is it, like to really get tapped into your emotional nature. That is what supports release, relief, and freedom to occur. It's so important that we address this on that level and beyond. And it's why I teach my clients a technique called the bliss flip. The bliss flip has saved my life. And it's to help them instantly shift out of stress and back into the present moment in a calm centered state. Because sometimes, you know, we can try and fix the situation by going to a yoga class or having a holiday or I don't know, just trying to rest on the couch. But actually inside is this residue of angst and overwhelm and pressure and guilt and all of that. And you know, we really have to resolve that to make a big transformation and shift in our lives. Now, while I can't dive deep into the bliss flip right now, again, if you want to learn from me, reach out and let's chat. I really do want to leave you with some simple practices that you can start using today to interrupt. Like, we got to do a pattern interrupt. These stress responses and time pressure is this well-rehearsed pattern in your body. Your body is addicted to this on a physiological level. That's a conversation that we can certainly explore in the future. I truly believe that we get addicted to feeling switched on and busy, but also on a psychological level and on an emotional level, it's well rehearsed. It becomes this stubborn pattern. So when you find yourself in that, you know, it is about a pattern interrupt. So the first step is to notice it. The next time you feel yourself getting stressed and like, you know, a little like overwhelmed about time, pause. Simply notice the feeling in your body. Like, where do you feel it? What sensations are present? Describe it. You are not that overwhelmed. You feel overwhelmed. And this is an important step to take. Okay, we often say, I am overwhelmed. No, sweetheart, you feel overwhelmed. It's not you. So notice it, describe it. And the second step is to breathe. Like, take a few deep, slow breaths, inhaling fully, exhaling completely. This is going to really support your nervous system and your physiology and help you. It's like this practice is like a mini reset button for your nervous system. Flip that switch. And it's a powerful first step to tap into the present moment. When you're in the present moment, this is how you open up to the field of possibilities. And it's how you start to embrace that Einstein time that we've been talking about. And if you want to go further with it, like learning the Phoenix technique, the bliss flip, really helping yourself with the whole bliss toolbox, then reach out. Now, here's why this is so important. When you transform your mindset around time, remember when I was talking about there's two paths that you can take, strategy or mindset. When you transform your mindset around time, when you can bring yourself back to a place of calm and presence, you literally change the way that your brain functions. You will access a whole new level of creativity and resourcefulness. And what happens with this is that you support your ability to problem solve. So instead of getting stuck in overwhelm, you can think more clearly, like your brain comes back online. Ding! Oh my gosh, I can see new solutions that weren't even visible before. You also increase this sense of resilience. You have more capacity to handle the situation. You feel bigger. The problem shrinks. Setbacks, you can just take it in your stride without getting derailed and like spiraling to, I just can't do it. I'm going to have to give up. And you will actually notice possibilities, opportunities, the right people at the right place at the right time. You start getting into the flow and synchronicity, and it's just, it's such a wonderful way to live. It was always there, but when you're in a state of stress and you're spiraling out, I don't have enough time, and you're in that sympathetic dominant state, you couldn't see it. It was hidden because you're in the wrong perspective, the wrong lens at that time. So this is why pausing to address your mindset, shifting how you feel about things, going within on a mind level, heart level, energetic and soul level before diving into strategies to fix the problem is so crucial. So not only will you approach the strategies from a more empowered place, you think about it. If you approach a conversation or need to make a big decision and take action, if you're doing it from a calm, centered place, the outcome's going to be very different to approaching it from the same strategy, but approaching it from stressed out, frazzled, depleted, snarky. The outcome's going to be different for sure. But you also will unlock a whole new set of solutions that were previously unavailable to you, sweetheart. Like honestly, your brain will come back online. You'll be even more creative, more innovative. It is such, like, this is tapping into the potential of you. Okay. And often, my clients want to know, like, Dr. Fee, what should I do in here? My job is to help them to come back to recognizing you've got all the answers within you. And my brain, like the way it works is I'm very innovative, I'm very creative, very solution focused. And that magic comes alive when I'm very centered and calm and connected. And that's what my clients love. They want to feel that too. And that is what they get to experience. And it happens because they pour love into themselves first. So remember, reclaiming your time, finding more ease and flow in your life, it's a journey. We got to have a big perspective. It's not a destination. It's not like you just get there. It's like you get to make small, consistent shifts in your mindset, habits, that over time, they lead to profound transformation. Simple things you do consistently have a profound effect. And that, my friends, like, this is where real magic happens. When you change your relationship to time, when you change your relationship to overwhelm, your to-do list, you change your life. And remember, you have all the time you need to create a life that you absolutely love. But it does start with you making a really powerful choice for yourself. And that's your responsibility. And if you're ready to break free from overwhelm and step into a more spacious, fulfilling relationship with time and really enjoy your life, really enjoy your success, and I invite you to apply for a free breakthrough session with me. So in this 45-minute call, we'll explore your unique challenges, okay, where you're at, where you want to get to, and we'll create like a personalized roadmap to help you to reclaim your time, design a life that you truly love, and the link is in the bio. So I cannot wait to connect with you soon. I hope today's episode has really helped you. I'd love to hear from you. So be sure to connect with me on social media or through email, and we'll speak soon. Bye-bye. It's been so beautiful spending this time with you. If today's episode sparked something within you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share the love. Are you done feeling overwhelmed and burnt out? If you're craving a curated, holistic framework that addresses burnout on every level, body, mind, heart, and soul, to get you claiming your life on your terms, then my Burnout to Bliss program is perfect. Apply for a free breakthrough session with my team, and let's deep dive into your unique situation to help you reclaim your energy, joy, and power. Now, if you'd prefer to get a taste of what's possible, then come join our amazing Bliss Sisterhood. It's our low-cost, high-value monthly community membership, and you'll find the links to both in my bio. So stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll unlock even more secrets to living a blissful life. Remember, you are powerful beyond measure. Take care.